Hello friend, in today's session we will learn how we can define and declare the different types of variable in the Python. So this is the fifth session of the same series. Basically in this series we will try to learn the Python from the scratch. So if you haven't watched the first four video, please watch the first four video and then come back to this fifth video. So basically in this video we will learn how to define and declare the variable in the Python. So before start the actual programming part, we will learn some basic idea behind the variable, why variable use in the Python. So basically variable is nothing but the object which hold your memory, which hold the program memory to store your value. So basically if you want to do some programming on the memory, like for addition, for subtraction or any other operation, you require some memory from your OS, from your computer. So to hold that memory for your program, we require this variable. So we will see how to define that variable in the Python. So basically start with the programming. We will see what are the different types of variables in the Python. Like we have seen, there are different types of variable like integer, then we have the float. That the same type we have the different types of variable in the Python. So what are they? So first variable in Python is nothing but the number. Second variable is Python nothing but the string. Third variable is nothing but the tuple. Then fourth is nothing but the list, and fifth is nothing but the dictionary. So today we will only focus on the number and little bit focus on the string. Then we will in the next upcoming series we will focus on the tuple, we will focus on the dictionary, and we will focus on the list also. But in the number there are again different types of variables. So first type in the number is nothing but the integer, then float, and then the complex. So we will learn how to define the integer, how to define the float variable, how to define the complex variable. Also we will see how to define the string variable in the Python. So we will try to cover all the basic parts of variable in today's session. So I will try to open my Python code so that you can understand real time example how to declare the variable in the Python. So you can say when you try to open, when you want to do the program in the Python in your laptop, you require this Python IDE. So how to install this Python IDE, I already explained in my first video of the same series. Please watch this video. So once you double click on this IDE, then this window will be open. Then you have to go to the file and the click on the new file. So once you click on the new file, then blank window will open, and here we can write our code, whatever code we want to write. So I will try to compare the C language with the Python so that you will get idea about what the difference between the C language and what the difference between the Python when we declare some variable. So for the C language, I use the online compiler. You can use any online compiler. I use Greeks online compiler. So in that compiler, we will define some variable. So in the C language, let's say if you want to add some detailed information about the employee. So let's say we require first employee ID. So int ID is equal to 30. Then salary of that employee. So float salary is equal to 14.5, or let's say 14,000, 14,000.5. And let's say his name. So for name we declare this character and take the name array, and we pass the name as a Rahul here. Then you can see here, whenever we declare some variable in the Python, we forcefully give what is that type of variable, so that that type of memory will be reserved in our program. So you can see id is nothing but the integer type, so that I have here forcefully given the int as a type of this variable. Then salary is a float type, so that I have given here float by forcefully to the C language. And the name is a character because it store the character array, so that's why I given here a character. So we define the forcefully what are the types of variable in the C when we use that variable. But in the Python, so let's say this is the Python code, and if you want to define some variable in the Python, we do not need to give the type of variable. Python interpreter automatically calculate what are the type of that variable. So let's say assume first is the id. So let's say directly I type id is equal to 30. Then next is the name is equal to Rahul, and third is equal to salary. Salary is equal to 14,000.5. Then I am going to print this one. So print first is nothing but the id. So I will print id. Then print name, and then print salary. And if you want to run the code, just go to the run and the run module, then save and run the code. So you can see once I run the code, you can see directly it is giving 30, then Rahul, then 14,000.4 is the salary. So how Python will understand what are the types of variables? So if you want to understand what is the type of this variable, then there is one method, there is one functionality. By using this, you can understand the type of that variable. So in future, if you in future if you want to understand what are the type of my variable, so you can type of type. So this is the function type, then of, and then give the name of that variable. So first name is id. So once I press the enter, so you can see it is a class integer. So Python interpreter automatically given the variable as a integer because I have given the integer value. Next is the name. So we will again check what is the type of name. So type of name, enter. So you can see it is a string type, and the last is type of salary. So you can see it is a float type. So we do not need to give any additional information about what is the type of variable during the programming. Python automatically assume that what is the type of variable, and it automatically reserve that memory. So this is a very interesting or amazing functionality about the Python. So let's understand the data conversion function in the Python. So data conversion, nothing, what is mean by that? So first, data conversion is nothing but, let's say if there is a string variable, and if you want to convert that string variable into integer form, then we require the data conversion operation. So let's say if you want to print this, and so let's say we will declare one variable having the string value. So a is one my variable having the string value 123 so, and press enter. Now you can see when I give the type of a, then it is a string. But let's say in the future, in the program, let's say in the future during programming, you want to convert this 123 value, in the whatever the value in the string form to the integer form. Then there is a one functionality. The functionality name is nothing but the type conversion. So I will declare another variable b is equal to int of. So int of a. So whatever the value inside a, that converted into the integer form int of a, and that assigned to the b. Now once I press the enter and print the b value, now you can see type of b is integer. So we have converted the a value which are in the string form into integer form by using this int of type. With the same logic, you can convert the float value into integer, integer into float, or any value into any other type by using this conversion functionality. So why we require this conversion functionality, I will give you one small example. During the second or third lecture, I think during the third lecture, we saw that how to take the input from the user. So whenever we take the input from the user, that whatever the input coming from the Python interpreter is always in the string form. So let's say if you want to do some additional or subtraction or any multiplication programming for the two different value from the user, then the input from the interpreter is string form, and you have to convert the string into the integer. So that time you require this int of operator. So this is one small example about that one. Second small example is nothing but, let's say if you want to concatenate, or if you want to print this data value, let's say id is equal to this one plus. So whenever we concatenated two string, so this is one first string and this is another value, that is what we have to actually want on the output. We have to want this one, id is equal to 13 on the output. So this value should be print on the output screen. But when I run this code, run module, then save, you can see there is one error, print whatever the string value plus id. So type conversion, type error, can only concatenate a string. So whatever value you want to print on the Python interpreter, that should have the string data type. So this is the integer data type, and again I want to convert this string. So how to convert that data type? Just giving the str of this one, So integer value converted into string, then it concatenate with the string, and now we can print this one. Now you can see what happened. Now you can see id is equal to 13 and this is the string form. So this type conversion is very important functionality, and you require this functionality many times when you want to print data on the Python interpreter, when you want to convert value from the Python interpreter to the when you want to convert the user value to convert into numeric form. So that time you require this one plus operator, then strop. So this is the basic idea behind the variables in the Python. I hope you understand the variable in Python, and it is very easy. Before conclude this topic, I will give some short description what we have covered. We have covered the variable, and variable do not require data type in the Python. Python automatically understand what type of data required for this variable. Then we also see the type operator, which is used to identify what are the type of data, and then we saw also the data conversion operation, which convert the one form of variable into another form so that we can print that value or we can take the user value. So this is the basic idea behind the variables in the Python. I hope you understand. If you like my content, please subscribe my channel and please click on the like button if you like the content. But I request you, please subscribe my channel. Currently you can see I have uploaded more video on many video on Raspberry Pi, Arduino, then Python programming, then some webinar, so that it can grow your career. So if you want to learn something from me, it is free, and you have to just click on this subscribe button, and all the video, it is very unique, and you will learn definitely many things from me. I upload mostly video on Raspberry Pi, mostly video on IoT, then Arduino. There are different types of project I have explained, and each project having the programming part. So please subscribe my channel, please support me, and please enhance your knowledge by watching my video.